What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Predator Badlands, the latest science fiction film in the Predator franchise from Dan Trachtenberg. All of a sudden, Dan Trachtenberg has made 3 Predator movies and has become the increasingly official paragon and leader and creative force behind the Predator franchise. You know, following Prey, which was a pandemic Hulu smash that we wish was released in theaters. In hindsight, of course. And then earlier this year, the animated anthology film Predator Killers of Killers followed up just a few months later, Predator Badlands, 2 Predator films in 1 year. One could argue that the Predator franchise, as an IP, has never been in a stronger and healthier place. And that's because Predator Badlands is an absolute blast. This film does so much with Predator lore and is perfectly self-contained in its own right while also referencing future crossovers with the Alien franchise. The simple choice of foregrounding a Predator character as our lead hero in a Predator film goes a long way, especially when that story is taking place on a dangerous foreign planet as opposed to back on Earth. Elle Fanning in a dual role as Weyland-Yutani androids is fantastic, one of her best performances to date. I really enjoyed the film and I can't wait for more Predator. And I think if you want to give Trachtenberg some kind of ethos or mission for how he's treated the property, I think Prey was just a really sophisticated story. I wouldn't put Badlands' story on quite that level. Prey is a lot more grounded, but also a bit more traditional in terms of the similarities in storytelling to the original Predator films. Badlands, though, giving us the lead character of Deck, a young runt predator, young runt Yautja, who basically flees his homeland from his vindictive and fist wielding father who just wants him to be culled from the herd. It's good motivation as a sort of fish out of water beginning. There's a lot of great training montages and equipment gathering as Deck begins to learn the ways of Genna, this very dangerous planet that he's gone to hunt the callus, this grand prize that has felled previous Predator hunters. And it's just a great premise. And before long, we meet up with Elle Fanning's character of Thea, a synthetic from Weyland-Yutani who is damaged and needs his help. Her legs are literally gone. And they strike up an alliance of sorts, a mutual agreement to help each other. He can get her back to her legs. She can get him to the location of his quest. It works well. And Fanning is able to, I think, play the android character well because she's playing a type of synth that has a bit more emotional capacity. And I think it's the latest great entry of synthetic characters in the Alien franchise. Of course, Weyland-Yutani Corporation, the titular big corporation in the Alien franchise. We just spent plenty of time with Weyland-Yutani in Alien Earth on FX and Hulu earlier this year. It's really exciting to see such a overt crossover once again. We have not had a meaningful crossover between Alien and Predator since the Alien vs. Predator films in the mid-2000s. The future of that is very exciting, given that we're also really happy with where Alien's at these days, between Alien Romulus being a great reboot and Alien Earth being a really successful first television show for the property. To have Elle Fanning jump right into a pretty storied history of synthetic characters in the Alien franchise. Of course, Ian Holm and Michael Fassbender would like a word if you're talking about who's the best, right? I think she does a really, really awesome job, especially once we meet her counterpart, this other android, Thea, who is still much more mission-oriented in terms of what they're trying to do on this planet. I really liked all that. I think it's a really effective crossover that doesn't get in the way of the movie, doesn't beat you over the head with anything like that, and it also isn't confusing to someone who isn't up on all the Alien films. You wouldn't have to know anything about Alien to appreciate what that character is doing. That they're just a synthetic character; it's just a corporation. But if you know Alien, hopefully most Predator fans do, then that just makes you even more excited for the future. So it works both ways. It's not like intrusive world building. It's not an intrusive like Easter egg or anything like that. And, the journey of Deck as he grows stronger and adapts to the world and, faces his mission. Is anything super surprising about how that plotting goes? No, not really. A lot of it's quite conventional, but that's fine because it's such a great time to be with. And I think there's a lot of hand-wringing about Predator Badlands not being a rated R Predator movie, being only PG-13. And I don't think that those quibbles, silly as they are, have any merit, honestly, when you watch the movie, because I think it's a really great blast and has a lot of fun with the concept of predators and their the juxtaposition of them being so sophisticated with technology and space travel and all of that, but still having this bloodlust that they put all this value on in terms of pride and worth and things like that. I think Trachtenberg has kind of put that in a little bit, and it comes up in Killers of Killers as well. Of course, the alien creature they encounter, Bub, I think makes a huge impression as well. There's some of the best humor in the film revolves around Bub. I really enjoyed that levity that he was able to bring, because again, Deck the whole time is going to still speak in the tongue of the Yautja, versus Al Fanning is speaking in English. Bub is speaking in animal noises, so it's not the most in-depth script, right? Similar to the way Prey operates, for example. But yeah, I think Bub was a great addition to the crew, and I love where the film ends too. Does that last confrontation that Deck has at the very end of the movie, did that feel a little bit quick? Maybe. Did I necessarily even need that in the movie at all? Not necessarily, but I love the brief reference of where it ends, right? Where there's a immediate realization of a future potential foe. I thought that was a great place for the film to end. So I'm very optimistic about the franchise with Trachtenberg at the helm. It seems like Predator still under the Fox, 20th Century Studios and all that, but now under the auspices of Disney, it seems like there's nothing really to worry about. The same way there's really nothing to worry about with Alien under the Disney umbrella now too. So feeling good. Shout out Elle Fanning though. I mean, between Sentimental Value and Predator Badlands being released weeks apart in the fall, of course, A Complete Unknown just a year ago. She's, I think, really cooking, really coming on as a leading woman, as a star. And this was, I think, my favorite performance of hers, just because she had to show so many sides, and I think it was really, really compelling, because it's a character that isn't able to do much of a physical performance, because for most of the film she's obviously without her legs and thus is only moving with her torso. So I think she did a really good job of handling those synthetic emotes in just the right way. And we got to shout out the actor who plays Deck, as well as plays Deck's father, and that would be Demetrius Schuster-Koloamatangi, who is a young New Zealand actor. This is one of his first roles. He, of course, does all the physical performance as well as the mocap for both these roles. And I think Deck does feel like a real character. And you think about Predator characters, Yautja characters. Usually, again, they're the antagonists. Usually, they're with their invisibility cloak. They're the hunter. They're not saying a whole lot, right? So Deck is also showing a new side of that in a way we haven't really seen too much of. So yeah, I think it's a complete success as a film. It's a complete success as a crossover, something to get you excited about for the future of Predator and Alien, for that matter. Really happy with it. Also, on the business side of things, it's going to open around Tron Ares opening, a little bit below Alien Romulus, but the key here is, like Alien Romulus, Predator Badlands is appropriately budgeted and does not have this outsized price tag the way Tron Ares did. So this is going to be a successful film. But, many sci-fi franchises and sci-fi films in general that aren't heavy hitters like Star Wars, you don't really hit too many home runs at the box office with these kind of things. Sci-fi doesn't perform that way. You hit good doubles, and that's what this film is going to do business-wise. And I think the budget came across well. I think there's one note to have about the film visually, which overall I think the CGI is very strong. Obviously, there has to be a lot of it in the movie. The one thing you could, I guess, say is that some of the backdrops are pretty dark, like the skies of Genna, even especially the skies of his home planet where we begin. Not the most like engaging backdrops, but I guess it maybe kind of hides the fact that it's all computer generated. Overall, though, the callus is a very, very impressive animation, for example. So yeah, I think like this is a great example of how you make franchises that are not A-list franchises, how you make them appropriately, where you're not compromising the success and the creativity behind the film, but you're also not really setting yourself up to fail financially in the process. So hats off for everyone involved. Predator Badlands, really happy with it. Let me know, though, what did you think of this Predator film? Are you excited for the future of the franchise? Let me know. And for more movie reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.